Hello Glamorous and welcome back to my channel, and if you are new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. Now don't forget to click on the subscribe button and the notification bell for more upcoming DIY future videos. For this back to school DIY request, I was asked to create a vanity set for a small college dorm room or a small living space, so I turned to Pinterest for some inspiration. If you would like to find out what 3 DIYs I created, just continue watching. First thing I did was took a ride down to my local Home Depot to gather up some supplies that I needed. DIY project number 1, I'll start by painting these 3 Victorian table legs in white. I will have a complete list of all items used in the description bar below. Next, I'll be using 8 white salad bowls. Next, I'll take a large skewer and I'll mark it in the center on the bottom side of the bowl. And don't forget to follow me on my social media platforms for upcoming DIYs and giveaways. Next, I'll be using my burning hot tool to make the hole in the center. I have the correct placement for all the holes. I'll just take one and stack it on top of each other and mark it in place. Next, I'll be using a strong foam board and I'll take the bowl and trace it on top, and I'll be cutting 2, and I'll be using these, one for the bottom part of the bowl and one for the top. For all 3 DIYs, I'll be using my strongest glue sticks. Next, I'll add hot glue around the edges and I'll glue it to the top part of my bowl. Next, I'll bring back my skewer and I'll place it inside the hole, and then I'll add glue to hold it in place, and I'll continue repeating the same steps with the next 7 bowls. For the last bowl on top, I'll be placing markings, and then I'll be cutting it in half using scissors. Once I was done, I'll be gluing it on to the second foam board. Next, I took strong cardboard and I cut out 2 18-inch round cutouts. Next, I'll be using this floral print grip liner and I'll be covering both boards with it. This is very strong and easy to clean. Next, I'll be using my low temperature glue gun and glue sticks to hold it in place. Once I was done with both boards, I'll be taking one and covering the opposite side with white glossy contact paper. Next, I'll take the board without the contact paper and I'll glue my stacked bows in the center. Next, I'll start attaching all three legs, and I'll use masking tape to hold it in place while I glue them in place. And for a better hold, I'll be using 1-inch nails. Next, I'll be using 3 5x8 mirror frames, and I'll be taking it apart and just using the frame. Next, I'll place it in the center of the top bowl, and then I'll trace the inside, and I'll use my hot tool to cut it out. Once that was done, I'll use the flat side of my hot tool to smooth the edges, and I also clipped the skewer that was hanging inside. Next, I took 2 pieces of foam board and I glued them together, and then I'll be gluing it on the top center part of the frame. Next, I'll be gluing on a small hinge, and remember, I'll be using my strongest glue sticks. And now I created a open and closing door. Next, I'll be using Velcro to hold the bottom in place. Next, I'll be taking small pieces of grip liner, and I'll be covering the top and bottom part of each leg. Next, I took poster board and I covered it with mirror reflection paper, and then I cut them into strips, and I'll be gluing them on the top edges. I also glued some around the center of each leg. Took poster board and glued on grip liner, and then I cut them into strips and glued them around the center of each bow. So glued on mirror reflection strips on the bottom base. I also glued on 2 remote LED touch lights underneath for lighting. And congratulations to the surprise box winner, Tina So Blessed. Yes, you are so beautiful, and you are blessed to receive this surprise box containing items that you may be using in your crafting every day. I'll leave a full details of contact information below, and thank you so much for all those who participated. And for project number 2, I'll be using this electrical holder tool that I had for a long time now. I found this dumpster diving, and yes, I dumpster dive, and it's made with very strong wood. I'll be using grip liner to cover the tube. Next, I'll be using mirror reflection paper and poster board, and I'll take the mirror reflection paper and I'll apply it to the poster board, and then I'll cut them into 1.5-inch strips, and I'll glue them around the edges. I took display cardboard and I cut out two 16-inch round cutouts. And for thickness, I had extra cardboard laying around, so I'll take one of the round cutouts and I'll apply the cardboard on top, and I'll have 5 layers in total. Next, I had from a previous project this 2-inch round foam, and it has seen better days, but I'll make it work. Next, I'll apply hot glue on the board, and then I'll place my foam on top, and then I'll place markings, and I'll cut out my holes for the tuffing. Next, I purchased this black throw fabric, and this is what I'll be using to cover in it. I'll be pushing the fabrics in between the holes, and then I'll be using my staple gun to hold it in place. And always remember to stretch your fabric as you go. And if you notice, I did not use polyfill to cover up the foam because the foam is thick enough as it is. I'll use large gems to cover up the staples. I purchased 3 cartwheels, and I'll be screwing these on the bottom part of the ottoman. I'll mark them in place, and then I'll pre-drill the holes, and then I'll screw them in place. Next, I'll glue both pieces together. And for project number 3, I took foam board and I cut out two 18-inch round cutouts, and then I glued them together for thickness, and I also covered it with grip liner. Next, I'll glue in the center this 9-inch round mirror. I also glue medium-sized gems around the edges. Next, I'll start placing my remote touch lights. Next, I'll be making a stand for my mirror, so I'll be using 2 large easels, and I'll be gluing them on the bottom part on the back side of the mirror. But you also have the options of hanging the mirror on the wall. I also glued on silver string beads around the mirror. And here is the finished look for all 3 pieces together. I really do love the way this vanity turned out, and this is a great add-on for that college student or that small space in your home. And let's not forget the secret storage compartment to store makeup or school supplies. This is a beautiful and great set to have when you have that very limited space in your college dorm room or in your small home. And always remember, this set can be done in any color and style of your choice. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this back to school DIY as much as I enjoy making it. Now don't forget, I post new DIY videos every week. Like and share with family and friends, and subscribe if you haven't, comment if you wish, and turn on your notification bell for more upcoming future videos. I'll see you on my next DIY upload.